Faves! Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to be throwing it back to last year. This time last year, the April/May time frame, I decided to dive backwards. Is that a thing? Can you dive backwards? All right, I went back in time and looked through last year's videos in my faves and fails for April and May to see what was I loving, what was I thinking about, what do I still have in my collection, and what have I gotten rid of, what have I changed my mind on. As you guys know, it was about springtime last year that I had found out I had endometriosis, and then in June, the beginning of June, I had a total hysterectomy, and that's when everything changed for my skin, my makeup, the whole thing. So I was like, whoa, what are my thoughts on all of the products I was loving before all of this stuff happened? Well, I have all of it in front of me right now, or do I? Some things are gone, some things are still here, but I have changed my mind on some things. So if you want to see what are my thoughts on makeup I loved this time last year and where my feelings are on it now, then stick around because we are about to jump into it right now. I went back through those videos for April and May and wrote down all of the things that I was putting in those faves and fails. And I noticed some overlap between what I am still currently using and some stuff that I am still figuring out. That's a little frustrating. I didn't realize it had been a year for some things. Let's start at the top. So let's talk about the base face. Let's talk about the things I put on my face that I was loving last year before my hysterectomy for skin, that prepping before makeup moment. I was really loving the No Pore Blend Primer. And as a lot of you know, this is back in my Shop My Stash because look how little there is left. I mean, we're pretty much down to the panning portion of a bottle, which is fine and great. But do I still think about this the way I did previously? In my old video, I was like, this is magic. I can't wait to repurchase this. So it's so funny to hear myself say there, I can't wait. I don't mind if I have to repurchase this because I like it that much. But a year later, I'm still on the bottle. I was about halfway through, maybe a little less. I think the bottle, because I laid it on its side a lot, looked like it was further along than maybe it really was. But there is still some product in here, but it is, clearly down to the bottom. I do lay it on its side again. But I did not have to repurchase this because I didn't know I was going to be getting so many other amazing gems in that summer time frame, like even more than I'm going to talk about here, that also help with pores, bossy pores, because that is something I am still having issues with as I am a year almost out from my surgery now. Obviously your pores are your pores. That's not going to change, but I do still need to mask them because they are bossy and right up front. For me. I still love this, but I did recently put it in my Shop My Stash, one, to clean it up, but also to kind of revisit it a bit more because this is not my go-to for primers anymore. This was my go-to, but now I'm kind of loving that Becca backlighting primer where it's going to be a little bit more luminescent underneath my skin, but when I have needed some pore blurring things, I have jumped back into this, even here on camera with you, because I opened it up and like scooped it out with this pump piece. So yeah, I do still love this. I do still really like it. I'm not maybe as itchy to repurchase it right away because I do have so many other great things that I am going to talk about, but this is still really good and I still really like it even a year later. And that's not just a test of time, it's also a test of different skin now because it is a little bit oilier. I am going through some skin changes, as I've mentioned here plenty of times. The other primers were two e.l.f. products. One of them was the Oil Control Mist. I put this on this morning because we are now getting to that time frame here in Florida. It has been consistently in the 80s, which I like and I dislike for the simple fact that that means we're getting closer to hurricane season too. But also means I get oilier faster, so I am still an oily girl. But I am noticing skin changes, as in like I'm a little less oily and getting a little bit more maybe combo. Some spots are more oily and some spots are being a little finicky. I go in and out of having dry patches. So I'm curious how this summer my skin's really going to adjust, but I did pull this out intentionally because I knew this was something this is that time frame of the year where you're like, okay, this is when my skin starts getting oilier faster, the makeup breaks apart faster, so let's start combating it. But I do still have this, I do still like it. I think I still have plenty in here too to really feel my way through this summer. But right now it does not affect my skin poorly at all. When I applied it this morning and sprayed it, the pump is a little like, you know, the spray isn't the best mist all the time. So I did kind of have to rub it all over my skin, but I was able to put on all of my foundation, concealer, everything like normal. So that wasn't pilling or pulling for me in any way. So that's a good sign. So stay tuned for this one specifically because summer is it's here. The other one, okay, this is also in part of like a panning moment and it wasn't intentional, but a year later, I'm so excited to say I still love the e.l.f. Putty Poreless Primer. Tova, you are a long-time subscriber that I do believe gifted me both of these, and I love them. See, I know you guys by name. I do. You can see the pan/bottom of this. I had used this up a ton last year, and I really relied on this a lot during my recovery, during all that time after when I was applying makeup, because I definitely needed that support. And I still really like this. This is something that I do reach for when I am putting together a very polished, I want to look very airbrushed look because I don't want my pores to be too bossy and up front and all the things that are detracting from a beautiful makeup look. I do still really, really love this. My feelings on this have not changed. I just think because of quarantine at the moment, I have been using this significantly less the past few months, but I was still reaching into this even after surgery in that December, November, doing the full face for holidays and traveling makeup. I was still loving and using this a lot to have that beautiful in-person skin look. You know what I'm talking about? You do. Still love this. I'm kind of planning on finishing this up, obviously, relatively soon. Love it. I can't believe it's been a year. It's like, I feel like some of these things are like little like, oh my God moments. Like I've had you for a year. It feels like yesterday. It's that kind of relationship. The other thing that I was kind of surprised that was also a year ago, this time frame, it kind of blows my mind, is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. I can't believe it's been a year since this was introduced to our lives. I right now have in my Shop My Stash the medium sand one. This is the lighter one. I feel like a little bit of mixed feelings about this since that video where it was springtime and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about even using this for an all over face foundation. I definitely have kept this mostly to concealers. I think because it has a faster drying, it dries a little faster so it can crease if you don't move too quickly with this. I do like it though. I think though the one that really overshadowed this one for me was something else that I've had for a while, and it is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This is the one that does the concealing, the contouring, the highlighting, the retouching, all the stuff. This is the multi-use one. I feel like these were the two in my beauty space that I reached for a lot, including the ColourPop too. I can't forget about that one. But these were like my two major contenders, because they were very similar. Like this feels like this is maybe a inexpensive, I don't want to say dupe, but good formula, a lot like this one. This one doesn't crease on me though, whereas this one can if you don't move quick enough. That's my biggest like thought about that. But I still really like it, but I can't believe it's been a year. I have been reaching for this a lot. Like I said, it's in my Shop My Stash again. I am enjoying it and I am liking to revisit it to see how I still feel about it, because it is a bit of a thicker coverage and I do like that usually, but I've been more minimal with my makeup lately and just kind of doing more easy breezy looks. Even though I can't believe it's been a year since I've gotten this, I think I would say I still feel really warm fuzzies about it. I'm probably not as gushy about it as I was a year ago because, you know, the relationship has lasted a year. You know, the butterflies aren't always there, but when I have a good makeup day, you still feel it, you see it. Is this a weird analogy? Probably. I still like it though, but it is in my Shop My Stash and I haven't finished it, or I don't even think I'm halfway through, am I? Maybe halfway through. It's hard to tell with these kind of things, but there's still plenty of products, I guess I should say. So maybe it wasn't like the, oh my God, I'm gonna repurchase this over and over again right away thing that maybe the ColourPop No Filter Concealer was for me, but it's still really good. So maybe it's gone from like a really high tier of excitement of a brand new product to middle of the road, I like you, I'm definitely using you, did not declutter you, that's still a valiant effort. It's kind of been more of like a backup for me compared to my higher end one that I know doesn't crease. How's that? Okay, so, this foundation is also in my Shop My Stash because I guess this is the time of year that I start realizing you didn't remember that you got this again a year ago, but now you need to use it. Use it more. Use it more. Apparently I do this instinctively, and this video is really bringing it to light for me. This is the ColourPop 3-in-1 Stay Fabulous Foundation. You guys know I just put this in my Shop My Stash as well, if you saw that video, and if you didn't, I've referenced it enough at this point. I definitely have to link it above. So check that out. I think either my personal views on this particular foundation have changed, or my bar has risen on what I like, or maybe it's my skin. It could be my skin, and that's why I'm doing this video, because again, a year ago, my skin was different. Now, I'm struggling with this foundation in particular. I just put this in my Shop My Stash this week, and I reached for it this week, and I can already tell you, I was already going, I don't know how many times I'm gonna wanna use this. I feel like when I apply this, it doesn't look as good as the CoverGirl Olay Simply Ageless does on me, and it seems to be streaky, it seems to be patchy. It doesn't seem to do what I remember this doing in like 2017 when I was in love with it. So I'm very confused about it. If you haven't noticed, I'm very confused with how I feel about this. I do need to give it a couple more tries. I feel like I have used a good amount of it in the year that I've had it. I think it's about midway through here. So I'm trying to decide if I even want to use it much longer. Again, that's what the Shop My Stash is for though. That's technically a separate video, but my feelings on it have changed. It has definitely changed to more of a, you were kind of just the quarantine backup piece, and then I started really going through the stuff I loved, and then I was like, why am I using all of my really good stuff? I guess I should pull you out more and maybe figure out what it is about you that has made me not reach for you so much since repurchasing, you know what I mean? My shade is Buff Beige, and I don't think the color is the problem. I think it is the formula. Either my preferences have really changed, or maybe it is just my skin. Maybe I'm just not, it's not working as smoothly with my skin as I was used to seeing. Like, I don't feel like I have a beautiful blend at all on my face when I either use a sponge or a brush so far. I feel like it's very streaky on my face. It doesn't give me that just nice skin look anymore. And I still need to work with it more and figure out what it is, or give myself a little bit more time, but my thoughts have changed, and not for the better, unfortunately. Something else that I have apparently very similar feelings about from a year ago to now, and it almost makes me wonder why I haven't decluttered this yet. And I think I know why, but then I also question my own sanity. Let's talk about it. This is a bronzer from Essence. You guys have heard me talk about this a lot. This is the matte bronzer. It's supposed to be good for brunettes. And the thing about this is it does a very beautiful, clean, blended spread when you initially use it. The issue for me is this bronzer ghosts me faster than any other bronzer I think I've ever had. I don't know. Like, I even said this before surgery. So this isn't just like a skin change situation. This is more like a, I just think this product, as much as I want it to work for me, kind of doesn't. The reason I know I've kept this baby around for as long as I have is that if I am having an afternoon struggle or a new product struggle, as in the product is skipping on my face originally in the morning when there's no reason it should be, and I'm kind of stuck, this has always been able to help blend the other powders on my face to make it look smoother, to kind of even everything out so I can go about my day without looking like a blotchy cheetah. I don't know. But then when I've tried it alone, it's just not enough, or a little too red tinted for me. I go back and forth about this product, so I sound very like confused about it, because I am. I want to like it because I see the beautiful things that it can do when I'm in a clutch and need help with it, but the problem is it goes away really quickly, and then the patchiness of other products can either come back, like I was saying when I was trying to fix it with this, or I just use this alone and it ghosts me. It just kind of like disappears. It's so big and bulky. That's the other reason that I've almost put this in a declutter probably at least twice I can think of. It's just it's too big to keep holding on to for not being top grade. I'm not trying to declutter you on this video. I'm really not. I swear I'm not. But The only good thing about this is if I'm about to jump on camera or if I'm about to do a Zoom meeting or whatever it is, and I know I just need a quick smoothing and touch up and warmth to the face, this does it. But as far as lasting all day, it does not. And as far as being a perfect tone for me, it's only when it's really, really summer and I'm really, really warm. So I was more middle of the road on this before. I think now I'm starting to get even more like distanced. My love for it is going further and further away. I don't know if this analogy is working, but I don't know if this is gonna last the year. And I think I said that like in January or February about this. So I talked about this a year ago and I wasn't in love with it then. The outlook's not so good for it, is it? Magic 8 Ball. I don't think so. I don't think so. We'll see. We'll see. Something else that I was shocked that I fell in love with were some paddle brushes from MotoPro. A lot of you guys know, it was apparently a year ago I became a Moto maven. I don't talk about that too much because I'm never trying to push you guys anything. I'm just telling you about stuff I like. So if you do like these or any of the brushes that I'm going to talk about from MotoPro, I do have a link down below. I think I get like a small, like little percentage commission from them, but I've never gotten any money from them because I don't push this stuff on you, because I just tell you what I like and you guys do what you do. If you want it, get it. These are the paddle brushes that I particularly really like for powders, to press them into my skin as an oily skin girl. And when it's hot outside, that's when I reach for these the most, because that's when I'm trying to really keep the makeup on. And if you're wearing a mask, like right now I use some of my summer tips. If I know I have to wear a mask to go somewhere, I do my summer makeup tricks to really pack that makeup on so it'll stay on longer, better, be less patchy. And for me, these work great with powders to really get them into your skin and press them when you're going through your makeup applications, like in the initial portion and halfway through your day when you need touch-ups too. I really like these for that, and I still do use these. They're still right up here on the top of my vanity. Love them. There is a MotoPro brush though that was in the bottom drawer because it's like on my second string, because I got a lot of brushes going in here. And I have a different blush brush now that I tend to use more. This one here is the tapered blush brush, which is really nice, and I have used it a lot for powerful blushes or for light blushes. Again, depends on where you put your hand, with how much pressure you put on it, but I do like to just pack on a little bit of blush in this fashion sometimes with this brush. But I have kind of moved on this season to more of a rounded tip so I can fluff it and do more of that W shape that I've been talking about more. So it's just more technique styles at the moment. It's not that I dislike this brush. I still think it's great. The bristles are still great. The handle's still sturdy. There's been no complaints about any of the Moto brushes. I really do love them, and that's why they offered me to be a Moto maven and have an affiliate link, because I talk about them organically. It's just I'm kind of rotating brushes right now. So that's where I'm at, but I still really like this, and I still love these. These come in really handy when I'm pressing in those powders, loose ones or compacts. At the time when this powder was being like presented on my channel, it was unfortunately also at the same time that this brand was having a non-cruelty free scandal, and it's Wet n Wild. I drank some water and I'm choking. And it's Wet n Wild, and it's unfortunate because that was my brand that I had up there, up with ColourPop, up with so many things that I knew I trusted and loved, and their makeup is so good for drugstore and inexpensive that I'm so heartbroken to this day, a year later, that they are no longer considered 100% cruelty free, and I don't purchase from them anymore. It breaks my heart. But this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus. I told you guys that I was going to try to use up a lot of my Wet n Wild products and then just not repurchase. I ended up decluttering some highlighters and stuff though, because those are, one, take a lot longer to kind of get through, but two, they were just more of like those token highlighters that you want for like those one-off looks, like those Nightwalker ones from like the Game of Thrones time frame where they had like that blue icy tint to them that I wasn't using a lot, and it was just storing up room in my tiny beauty space, all of those things. The one piece that I know I still have in here, I think I have a couple other things too, but this loose powder, I really like this powder a lot, which is so unfortunate, and it's really inexpensive and high quality. This one and Cody Air Spun are two that I really like that are hard to replace with cruelty-free items, but I will be doing that. I'm still needing some more recommendations. I don't really like this Everyday Vacay from Ciate London we got from BoxyCharm for all my Boxy babes. This one's just not cutting it. I had to compare these two this morning, and this one kind of sucks compared to this. So I've got to figure out a different loose powder situation, but I am still using this up. I do have a little bit left, not a ton. I feel like this will probably be gone by like the start of the real summer time frame here. But I have not been using this as much. That's why I still have it, because I've been trying other things like pressed powders from CoverGirl and stuff like that to try to figure out a different powder situation. So I'm not repurchasing this like last year. I still have it, but it's at the very bottom. Like I'm scraping the bottom just to kind of finish it up and then move it along. Still a heartbreak for me. Wet n Wild, please go back to being 100% cruelty-free. Stop selling in China so I can use you again. I loved you. 2 items that came in my BoxyCharms were some Mellow Brow pencils, and I've used them kind of like on and off for the past year since I talked about them initially. What I can tell you is what I still like about these is I got one in taupe and one in the shade chocolate. The taupe one is almost my exact eyebrow real color. So I can use that to kind of like draw it out and kind of like fill it in a little bit to kind of get that guide going. But as far as it being like the only tool I could use, no, unfortunately. One, that's too light to go with dark hair, and I think most people darken their brows at least a bit, even blondes, just so they don't look gray or like faded or non-existent, you know what I mean? The chocolate one is nice too, but again, I think I've just kind of learned, at least in this portion of my skin and hair recovery, I need more than just pencils now. I need other things, and this Iconic London was also something in that same little time frame of April, May that I was like, oh my god, I love this. What am I gonna do when I run out of it? Well, you guys heard my cries, and during my recovery and after surgery, so many of you were sending me cards and sweet things, and some of you were sending me your brand new fresh Iconic London Sculpt and Boost pieces because you didn't like them or didn't need them, and you were like, here, take mine. So you guys, again, are awesome. All of you, mwah. But this is still clearly a loved item in my beauty space. I am on my second or third one now, and I still use this in tandem with my Brow Bar by Rima that helps darken up the brow and give it a little bit more color for my hair. But as far as these Mellow Brow pencils go, they're definitely not faves for me. They're just kind of like the supporting act. They're like that base that you need. They're your foundation for brows. That's what I could call this, my foundation for brows. So it's not that I dislike it. I just think I need more than just a pencil. At this portion of my brow game and where my skin and hair is at, I need more than just one thing. And you know, more is more, that's okay. Brows still aren't my favorite thing to do in the morning, so I'm always testing, trying, and playing with new things, but they are a great support system for other items. And I do still love the Iconic London. I probably have a little less love for it, maybe a smidge, than I did a year ago, because again, a year is a long time and a lot has happened. But I have definitely also learned that this can also make my eyebrows look kind of gray if I only just do, even just with this dark tone here, because with the way I think my hair and my skin is, it just doesn't, especially on camera, come off as pigmented as it does when I add this extra brown powder to my brows to give it a little bit more life. I definitely noticed when I was reviewing some of those videos, my brows definitely looked different a year ago, but again, my hair was much lighter. But I also think I was still figuring out how filming in front of a window with natural light and sometimes turning on my ring light here, it can wash out so much makeup. So in person, my brows are actually even darker than probably you see. But in person, my husband's like, are you sure that's not too dark? I'm like, it's on camera, under lights. Sometimes you got to do the magic tricks behind the camera to adjust certain things. That definitely includes brows and sometimes a bronzer. So you know what I'm saying? Sometimes what you guys see on camera is different than what my husband sees when he's right up in my face going, are you sure those brows are okay today? And I'm like, don't talk about the brows. It's a sensitive subject, Adam. He knows it is. He knows. Now, really quickly, 2 hair pieces that I have to tell you I talked about a year ago, and it's hysterical because apparently I'm a creature of habit and didn't know it. Well, I did know it, but not like this. I just talked about this item in my recent faves, and I didn't even think about what I did a year ago. This is just apparently the time frame I pull out certain items all the time, and I talked about the Not Your Mother's line then, and I just talked about it again this past Faves and Fails with this product. This is the Curl Talk, the definer cream from Not Your Mother's. I love this for my wavy curly hair. It helps to give your hair that bounce, that curl, that lift, and it smells really good without weighing it down. And a lot of times gels can weigh down my hair. I have a lot of hair. So this really helps to give it some body. And I let you guys know I love the Not Your Mother's dry shampoo. At the time I had the green one, and I also mentioned that I loved the mango one. This is my ultimate favorite because it also gives that lift to your hair. And since I have a lot of hair, it can get weighed down. So I do cut it into layers, but none of us are seeing our hairstylist right now. So sometimes when you need a lift, you go to the dry shampoo. This is the plumping one, and it's the Plump for Joy from Not Your Mother's. It is literally my favorite. I've used this one for years and talked about it. I love it. I can't believe that I literally mentioned this in my recent faves, and it is that time frame again when I was already reached same thing. At least you know when I love something. I mean it. I do. This is almost empty. I'm gonna have to replace this one, and I've bought this dry shampoo probably 7-10 times in the entire time that I've used and been introduced to this brand. I love it. I do. Even for dark hair, because a lot of you know we can get that white cast if we have dark hair, and some of us are already getting white roots and we don't need the help from this. It's less with this, and it shakes out a lot easier for me than some of the other brands that I have tried. So I do love the Not Your Mother's line. I still have a burning love for both of these products. So it is so funny that I just mentioned one of those the other day. Okay guys, I think that is pretty much everything. So some of my feelings have changed. Some of it is skin. Some of it could be formula. Some of it could just be techniques and styles, all of those things. But I really am interested to see how I keep evolving and how my skin keeps changing through the summer, because I know how my skin normally acts when I'm not on hormones and before my hysterectomy. But now, what's this summer gonna look like? Because last summer I was inside a lot, although I might be inside a lot this summer too. Well, I'll be able to do stuff though. I can still go on walks and stuff now. Whereas a year ago in the summer, I really couldn't. I was very bedridden because I was so swollen and all this stuff. So stay tuned to see how I change and shift with my summer products, because I really don't know what I'm still gonna love and what I need to find new items for. This could be a whole new face for me. Thank you guys so much for watching and going through this time capsule with me for this Throwback Thursday. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you happen to be new to my loud, weird, crazy, unique channel, hi new friends. I hope you take a quick moment to hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on all of these fun, loud, weird, unique videos I do every single week, even during a quarantine. Bye friends.